Good morning. This is Bill from Europa, Naples on the first sunny morning that we've had in a while. And as a result, I'm dealing with flies. It's making me insane. Every second I walk away, the flies come out. There, he's back. I'm going to bring one of those big wasp spray things to hose this thing down. There he is on the hood again, making me nuts. Anyway, I'm going to go forward with the flies because obviously I'm just not going to win. I'm just going to beat my head against a wall, and they're going to keep coming back and laughing at me with their little fly mouths, just laughing. But anyway, what I have today is this terrific blast from the past. This is a 1992 BMW 325i Cabriolet. God damn it, I hate these things. Hate them. Anyway, it's an E30 chassis car, and it was a pretty special car. It wasn't the first 3 Series, but it's, you know, truly kind of the first 3 Series that people think about. It replaced, I believe it was the E21, if I remember right, the very first E. They kind of, you know, built on that. It took the same basic platform and whatnot, but it really just made it a little bit better looking. I don't think that's an arguable thing. This thing is so definitively, you know, BMW, and it's sort of the car that cemented BMW into the American psyche. You know, the 2002s were fantastic cars. They were, you know, sold like crazy here, and they created a real cult following. But the E30, you know, this BMW really brought these cars mainstream. You know, I was in love with them at the time. I really was. I got to drive one. I enjoyed it. You know, but I really didn't like the sort of people who were buying them. So it's not really something that I could have driven myself. These were really insufferable, horrible people with their collars turned up and, you know, talk of sculling and weekends in the Hamptons and such. You know, they're just sort of the people who eventually congregated towards Starbucks and whatnot. But the E30 has now sort of come into its own. It's become a collectible for all of us. You know, the prices have started going up, and fair enough, they really should have. You know, they did sell a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. But it's such a special, special car. You know, I just absolutely love the kidney grille, the 4-round headlamps. That was an addition for this 3 Series, was the flies again. You know, this late model car has the color matching bumpers, very, very nice, with that low air dam with the fog lamps, terrific stuff. Those BBS looking wheels, I think they actually are made by BBS, and why wouldn't they be? And, you know, it just is the epitome of a well-designed car. And not only is it well-designed, it's an absolute blast to drive, and that's part of what drove the success of these cars. One interesting thing is the greenhouse that sits on top of this, you know, the cabin area, if you will, everything above the door line on the car. It's huge, very, very tall. You know, you've got a ton of visibility in this thing. You sit very upright, and despite that, you feel very comfortable, but it is in no way low to the ground or sleek or, you know, the way you would sit in a Corvette kind of lying forward. You know, this thing is all about your driving position being very, very proper. You can see, again, the color-coded mirrors, the color-coded bumpers. Whatever. All right, let's start inside the trunk. I'll say another thing. This thing was made better than the 3 Series that came after it, at least immediately. You can see a nice big trunk in this car. Huge, actually. You fit any golf club sets you want in there, 1 or 2. You got a whole area forward underneath where the top sits. It's just a, you know, very nice-sized area. You can see somebody's put in a CD changer there. That's fine. We've got some factory BMW mats. I'm not sure if those are the originals or not. They may be. And everything looking good back here. Let's see our little bag of tricks. Yeah, toolkit's intact. I see you got a little bit of rust on the lug bolt remover there, but you know, that's fine. It's what you'd expect. This is way, way better than most of them when you open it up. This thing's a real survivor. I sold this to a guy about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. It was a one-owner car at the time from a older woman. I say older, she's probably my age now. But she loved it. You know, I mean, it was absolutely her baby, and she really regretted giving it up, and she was miserable. And you know, the guy who got it, he just loved it, but he ended up getting some kind of all-wheel drive version, which is what he really wanted to begin with. So this one came back to us, and here it is again. And I just love having it because it's a blast to drive. You see, it's a 5-speed manual. Every E30 should be. Don't get one with an automatic. All right, let's have a look under the hood. Very cool way the hood opens, of course. It pops forward and then leans forward and opens from the front. You know, this one stays up nice. It's proper. Lovely mechanism it has there. You can see under the hood everything nice and proper. This guy serviced the hell out of it. So did the woman, and then so did the guy after him. In fact, let me pop this off. I think we'll see. Yeah, there's the timing belt replacement. Very, very nice to see. And, you know, that's a good thing. These are interference motors, so you got to keep a proper schedule on the timing belt. You can see it's a 2.5-liter inline 6-cylinder. Puts out a little under 200 horsepower. It's silky smooth, lovely, buttery, an absolute joy to sling through the rev band. And it is, you know, an exercise in simplicity under here. You've got your, you know, engine, your, you know, fairly advanced for the time fuel injection, and that's it. You know, there's not any variable valve timing or, you know, engine management systems that can complexify this thing. It's just a very simple, lovely machine. And that's part of the reason these are all million-mile cars. You can put a ton of miles on these things if you maintain them properly. Let's get that closed. All right. Let's get into the cabin. I mean, there are flies everywhere. Oh, God. All right, you can see the leather in the back is exceptional, and one thing that's really notable about that is it is the original leather, never been changed. I mean, you see these things absolutely desiccated. That little area back here, those are all chipped and cracked from the sun. This thing was garage kept, loved on, kissed on, and it shows. You can see, I mean, the thing's 26 years old, for God's sake. For the leather to look like that is really, really impressive, and for collectability, that's a good thing. Ditto the front seats. Again, leather's never been changed. It's never been touched up. Have a little bit of entry rear there, and that's it. You got these little thigh extender supports. They're all beautifully manual, these seats. Work like a charm, easy to operate, and very comfy to sit in. You can see the door panel nice and tight. A little bit of that famous seam splitting going on, but very, very minimal. Also, these ridiculously expensive at the time German accessory cup holders, and these are the good ones, not the stupid ones that, you know, flip open. These are the ones that will actually hold your drink without spilling it on you. You know, I mean, is it nice to see? I don't know. It's proper. It's the ones that you would have bought at the time. They're like 60, 70 bucks a piece from the Mercedes or BMW accessory store. I guess at the time the Germans thought, you know, having a drink in your car was a little bit rude or gauche. The dash, exceptional, no cracking, lovely. Steering wheel, original leather, very, very nice. This one's light enough to have the airbag, and everything just absolutely charming in here. Let's hop in. Get the seatbelt on, and we'll fire it up. So, interesting about the gauge cluster. I mean, that is such a classic BMW gauge cluster. If you get into BMW today, the layout and design and look of the gauge cluster really isn't any different from that. They've been using it for years. They have the same orange backlighting, and it's just very simple, easy to operate, easy to glance at in a pinch, and does exactly what it's supposed to do. You got some headlights over here, your fog's next to it. Again, lovely leather on the steering wheel, really nice to grip. I'm not a fan of the vinyl wheels in the E30s. I had one. I had a 318, a real stripper convertible. It probably had window cranks even. It didn't. It had power windows. But it had a vinyl wheel that I instantly replaced because I just didn't like it. All right, let's fire this thing up. All right, that big 6 comes right to life. Very, very smooth. You can see it self-tests just fine. It's got that great check up there. everything good and proper. The inspection is up to current. This guy again did service his car. You see those little green bars. This was a clever idea from BMW. Once you had the car, you know, serviced, they reset it. The green bars went all the way over, and one by one they slowly dropped off until it was time for you to service the car again. So it wasn't something that you would forget about. Very nice vents, easy to aim, easy to move around. They all work great. Here's your power top. Here's your what is that, rear defrost? I guess if you had a hard top you could use that. Hazard switch, a little in-dash trip. I think that was optional, maybe standard in this convertible 325, but you know, nice stuff, all working good. These indecipherable to me. Climate controls, I mean, they're intuitive enough. I guess if you want center air, you move this over to center. If you want bottom, you move it to bottom. You can blend. Yeah, you know what, it's fine. Temperature, fan, actually fairly easy to use for a German setup in the 80s and 90s. They did put in a controller for that CD changer. I don't like this aftermarket radio. In fact, when I sold it to this guy, I'm pretty sure it had the original radio, and he says he doesn't have it, which makes me nuts. But if I owned this car, I'd probably go out and buy one. The reason I think it had it is because it's got this sort of tie-in with the aftermarket changer that's much, much older than this radio. So if I remember right, I think the woman added the changer to have music but left the factory radio as it should be. You got an ashtray down here. You got your power window switches. This thing turns off the windows if you need to. Hilariously, we've got heated seats on this one, so if you want to use it up north, you can. Probably the sweetest 5-speed gearbox that's ever been put in a vehicle is the manual gearbox in an E30. It's just an absolute joy to push your way through the gears. Over here, you got a glove box. What would you expect? Looks, I don't know what we got in there, all kinds of stuff. And let's see if we run the top for a minute. So to do that, I have it running, foot on the brake. I'm going to tap this guy, and we'll look in the rearview mirror and see what happens. So up comes the top cover. Up comes the folding soft top. You know, this thing's kind of old. It's actually a miracle that it's working as well as it is. Sometimes, very often, they need a little help to make it work, but this one did it all on its own, so nice stuff. Now let's pull that guy down, twist these two little bastards into place, get them back up again, run my back windows, and then the fronts. Look at that, everything working nice, and you could hear a notable change in the sound when you opened when you put the top up. So it really does still seal very well. Shut it off so it's not too loud. Come out to a swarm of flies here. Look at that, there's already one on the top. Just put it up, there's a fly on it. Anyway, there it is, the original blue soft top on this car. You can see the clear back window, very, very nice, all proper. That is the top that it came with, I believe. I'm not 100%, but it's certainly been on there for a while. And seal's nice, windows line up nice, everything looks really, really good. I also like seeing the weather strip under the third brake light. Very often you don't. You see it's like ripped away or gone. The third brake light in total is actually in really good shape. And of course that was just sort of a cheap add-on that BMW had to do. You know, after 1986, when the third brake light law came out, all these cars that were designed before that were certainly not designed to have it. So the way they put it on is something akin to a roof air conditioner on a motorhome. They just kind of bolted it on top of the trunk or stuffed it in the rear window. All right, let's go for a spin. And going for a spin is the best part of a BMW E30, because that is what it's built to do. You know, when they called it the ultimate driving machine, they weren't kidding. The thing really is. I mean, it is a joy to drive. The steering is lovely. The suspension is really nimble, agile, and lively. You know, there's a whole racing series that's devoted to E30s. Back when they were cheap, of course, people could buy them for next to nothing. They'd, you know, clear them out. They'd put cages in them and go racing, and they're a fantastic car for that because they're so much fun. Kind of a German Camaro, if you will. They just handle a hell of a lot better than any old Camaro. All right, so again, what a lovely feel from that gearbox. Lovely revving engine. You know, this was what was nice, and this was what made these cars so successful, is it turned your ride into work into a joyous driving experience. You know, I've always been more of a Mercedes guy, to be honest, but you know, the E30 is a thing unto itself. Up to the red line. Nice pull. You know, it's not a rocket ship. It doesn't throw your head back in the seat, but it really is the definition of sporty, lovely driving. And of course, when you put the top down in nice weather, it just sort of adds to all that. So anyway, there it is. 1992 BMW E30 325i Convertible. This thing has just 93,000 miles. Nice color combo. All mostly original. You know, a few little touch-ups here and there, but just a fantastically original car. No rust anywhere. Original leather. A real sweetheart. If you're looking for one, this is a good one to consider. And if you are looking for one, you're on the right track. You know, it is a really cool vintage collectible car that can be driven affordably. Looks terrific. You know, people love it when they see it out. They, oh my God, I had one, or I wanted one, or I, you know, lost my virginity in one, or, you know, there's people like these things. So there it is. Thanks for having a look. If you want to give us a call, it's 239-649-7300. On the web at mercedesexpert.com. Again, thank you very much, and we will see you with the next one. Take care.